Hey, what's up? Back again. This time I want to talk about how fear is your GPS in life. Fear is your GPS in life. You got to let it guide you. Because fear is a blessing in disguise because it's almost like fear is telling you how to be successful. And one of the things that I've realized is fear is like looking out for your ego. Fear is basically like telling your ego that it's at risk, right? Because everything you do, you go for a new job, right? And in the back of your mind, you're like, I could get rejected, right? What if I go to the interview and I bomb it, and there's a lot of more people that are more qualified than me, um, and even when like men and women are single and they go to find a mate, right? You're out in public, you see a girl or a guy that you're interested in, and you're not going to say hi because the fear that you might get rejected, and it's your ego, you know. Um, Hold on. And it's really your ego, and it's that fear that stops you from achieving a lot of things in life. So that fear, you shouldn't take that fear as hold on, don't do this. That fear should be okay, that's the direction I want to go. Um, and the fear is always going to be there. So, with me, um, in the carpenters union, and I need to start, finding work. Um, and I chose this because it's something that I really want to do because later on in life I want to be able to flip houses and I want to do a lot of that work myself because I enjoy building. I like building things. Um, so I want to learn how to build things, right? Um, but one of my fears is like, okay, I'm gonna be traveling a lot, working a lot of hours. I'm not gonna have time to do these YouTube videos. I'm not gonna have time to work out. And then I thought about it realistically, and I used to work 10-hour days, and I would still wake up in the morning, go to the gym, and do a YouTube video. So it's this fearful thinking, and that's why so much self help will tell you to have a positive attitude, right? Um, because one, by building things, I'm already working out. I'm working out my body, learning a new skill. I could easily do a YouTube video, um, and then financially, it's gonna set up more things for me. So now, if I'm making more money, get a house with the garage, and then I could put a gym inside of my garage or inside of my home and save myself the time so it's just right there for me all the time. Um, but when fear is bombarding your mind, you can't think of these things. And a lot of times you just got to do it. And then if it doesn't work out, it's okay. You know, um, replan, re-strategize, try again. Don't get yourself in a situation where you've spent too much money to where you're stuck working somewhere, but to where you can maneuver a little bit, to where if you don't like it, you can switch it around. But fear stops a lot of us. People want to, somebody might want to write a book and they start writing a book and then they're like, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to like it. I don't know if, the grammar's not good. Um, there's a guy, his channel, Hustlers Kung Fu. I watch him sometimes, and he was talking about how his first book he wrote, um, there was a lot of fear and a lot of doubt, and he did it on storage auctions. And this was before storage auctions got popular, and um, basically he released it like a year before storage auctions got popular. And what happened was the book did pretty good, but he said it wasn't perfect grammar, it wasn't perfect in any form, but there was actionable steps in there, and it gave some good information. And you know, it, once the storage auctions got popular with Storage Wars, then the book picked up and it started selling, and it started selling because his book was on the market, um, while a lot of people were like taking 2 3 years to write this book and make sure it was perfect, that the grammar was perfect, that there was a bunch of fluff in it, so it was a longer book, and all this stuff that people worry about because fear lets them dwell on everything that could be better and what could go wrong, and you know it stops you from putting yourself out there. It stops you from gaining information. It stops you from gaining knowledge. It stops you from learning when you have this fear. Think when you think you know something, that's what fear is, thinking you know something. um, when you have a fear of going to a job interview, you think you know that you're not going to get hired. You think you know that this person isn't going to think highly of you. And if you go in with that mindset, you're probably right. But if you didn't have that fear in your mind, if you use that fear as your GPS, you know, this is what I should do. Go forward, go with it, go with it. And the more you use fear as your GPS, the more you're going to see doors open, the more you're going to see your life change. Because your life's not changing because you keep having these fears of doing these things that you want to do, right? Um, you want to start a business, but you're not going to start a business because you don't have this or you don't have that. You don't have the money to start a business. You don't have the time to start a business. You don't have the space to start a business. But, you have to get started. And your excuses might be very good, very great excuses, but it doesn't mean that they're acceptable. So use fear as your GPS. When you fear doing something, but you should be doing it, use that as guidance. When you're telling yourself you want to write a book, but you don't have enough time, you don't know if anybody will like it, are you wasting your time? You're wasting your time being fearful of it, especially if it's something that's repetitively on your mind, driving you a little crazy. That's what you want to do, because then you could go forward with it. And then you might forget about it and then come back to it. And forget about it, then come back to it. And then realize you might have something. And then you stick with it. Right? But you gotta keep keep guiding yourself with that fear. Whenever if it's fear like the stove is on, don't touch it. I mean, that's a different kind of fear, right? Because that's real life, preventable things. But when it's unknown fear, fear of the unknown, you have to do it. You know, if it's known fear, um, where it's like, don't touch the stove because it's hot, don't try to do a backflip on cement when you've never tried a cartwheel, you know, don't go to the hood wearing blue where there's a bunch of bloods at, like stuff like that. Like, don't do a prank pointing a BB gun at a police officer and saying, put your hands up. Like, stuff like that. Like, that's known fear, right? And I mean, that's obvious. Like, yes, you should be afraid to do that stuff. But when it's something that can further your career, something that can bring you knowledge, something that can bring you power, something that can build your confidence, something that can build self-reliance, something that could make you more money, something that could bring you more joy, something that could bring you more peace, more happiness, more better relationships, better friendships, better whatever. That can make you stronger, that can make you mentally stronger. Whatever it is, something that can improve your life that is in the unknown, you know, like meditating 10 minutes a day. A year from now, are you going to be enlightened? Are you going to live in this place where you float on clouds and flowers and rose petals and ride a magic carpet with a blue genie named Will Smith? I don't know, right? But if you start meditating and after a year, you know, you put 10 minutes a day into it, after 6 months, you're feeling a little better. You're thinking a little more clearly. After a year, it's starting to develop something. After 5 years, it's really starting to develop something. But you were afraid because you were like, oh, 10 minutes isn't going to do anything. I don't have an hour to meditate every day, so I'm just going to forget about it. That's fearful thinking. That's why they say keep a positive attitude. That's why they express positive attitude so much. Because you have to think like, okay, I'm going to do this. However it turns out. I may get rejected if I try to make this sale. I may put this ad up on Craigslist and nothing might happen, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow my fear. I'm going to use fear as my GPS and I'm going to let it guide me. And then you have to embrace that fear and go through it with almost like a nonchalant attitude. With, I don't care if I fail. Start having that mindset. I don't care if I fail. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to put it for sale on a webpage. And I'm going to promote it. And if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. I don't care. But one thing I won't do is sit here and wonder, could I have done it? Would it have worked out? I regret not doing that. That's what you don't want to do. That's a fear that you'll have to live with for life. If you use fear as GPS and let it guide you, that fear is only going to last as long as it takes to do whatever you need to do. Right? If you're writing a book and you put it out for sale, the fear is only going to last as long as it takes for you to write that book. But if you never write that book, that fear is going to be with you for your whole life. 30 years down the road, you're going to be thinking like, damn, I could have been an author. I could have had a book that sold. I've seen 6 books already that were just like the ones that I was going to write. And now these people are selling hundreds and thousands and millions of books and doing public speaking for $60,000 an hour. And now I'll never know if that could have been me. So that fear of writing that book, it might last the whole time you're writing that book. And then to put it up on the webpage, there might be more fear. And then once you get a sale, then you're going to be like, okay. You're going to build a little self-confidence. You're going to build a little self-reliance. You're going to build a little, that fear is going to ease off a little bit and go, okay, I see how you do it. I see what you're doing now. And that fear is going to guide you. And then someone's going to say, hey, we need you to do some public speaking. And then you're going to be like, oh, that fear is going to kick back in. But it's only going to last as long as you're doing the public speaking. And then once you're done, it's going to be like, whew. But if you never do that public speaking, you're going to think, 10 years down the road, I could have been doing public speaking. Think about that, guys. like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below if you have any questions, or let me know what some of your fears are. I would love to know. I have a lot of fears, not perfect, not fearless, still building courage just like everybody else. So leave it in a comment below. Everybody get involved. I'd love to see what people are thinking, and have a good day.